Okay, guys. Sorry, if you've been watching the last one, I just ran out of time on the closing sentence. We're pretty much done with this. I have fine-tuned many of the elements. You could go to town on it. Ultimately, what we're after is trying to make sure that things are the right kind of sizes that you need. So all we're going to do now is make sure these tabs are the right width, that they're in the right position, and then we will basically start a final build for these screen elements. So again, I'm just going to select all. They're still part of a group. Everything should be in that group. Come over to this artboard and zoom in, Control 1, just zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to hit edit and paste in place. Hopefully this time should make sure it's bang on. So I will just select that outer shape and check that it is accurately positioned, which it is in 0, 0. So everything's in the right place. It even brought a copy of the guides for me very nicely. You could have guides going horizontally as well. Okay, so my next thing is we've got 3 tabs here. Now, if you remember, the size of my actual object is background object is 320, 480. So I've got to divide 320 by 3. Now, if you're not good at maths, and even if you are, that's going to be quite a difficult sum. But 321 would clearly divide. 300 divides 3 times into 100, and 21 would divide into 7, so I'd have 107 each. But I've obviously got 1 too short. Okay, so I'm just going to click with my rectangle to mouse has been a bit funny today, and I'm going to type in 107. Okay, you could always do it using the calculator, or you could do it a number of other ways. You could just make it the full width and then divide by 3 and then adjust. For now, I'm just going to put in a random height. Let's just go for 100. Okay, hit OK. There's my rectangle. I'm going to change the location of this to 0 by 0, which puts it in that top left corner. Drag it down. And what I want to do, I'll move it up a tiny bit. I'm going to drag out a guide and snap to that top left corner. Okay. Then I'm going to take the object, I'm going to come over, just going to move this up a little bit, come over to the edge of the object, click in the top corner, start dragging, hold down Shift to keep it level, and I want to snap it to that corner, and again I'm going to do the same here. Now these guides I should be able to select normally, and it should tell me what position they are. For some reason today it's not doing it. Normally it tells you up here the location of the guide. Okay. But I'm guessing if I click this object and I look at it, you should see it's 107. So 2 times 107 should be 214, which it is. So I'm doing good, but you'll notice this one's 1 pixel shorter. I think I can live with that. Okay, so I'm just going to delete that box. Obviously, I can't get it perfect. This is the smallest one. I'm going to leave it at that. It'll do. Not many people are that observant that they could tell the difference between a single pixel on a screen like this. So I'll move across just to move it out of the way, and I'm going to then click on this anchor point, drag across with Shift. Okay, oops, should be snapping to that guide there. Okay, keeping Shift pressed. That means that's perfectly aligned on that line. I want to do the same with this one, just drag it out and then move it across, and the same with this one. I'm going to drag it out, then drag it across to the edge. Okay, so those are my locations. All right, and I'm now ready pretty much to turn this into a full colored version. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to hide the guides. That's Control or Command and semicolon, so that I can see my text, etc. I'm going to bring back the image. If you remember at the beginning, in the layers, I was showing you we're inside the group, so I'm just going to double click outside to go back to see all the content. I'm outside the group again now. I have a layer in the background, and in that background you can see I've blocked out, used color initially to do a block out, then we've copied it again and what have you. I'm going to do the same process here. I'm going to block out with solid colors so we can see that each of these are separate objects. Then we're going to do the final version. Okay, so let's get on with that basic plan. I need to double click to go into the edit the group screen elements. Within that, I've got my screen area, which is the background rectangle. Let's zoom out to 100%. And I have this line. So I'm going to hold down Shift, select both. Okay. We're going to use Pathfinder again, but this time we're going to use a new one. We're going to use Divide. And what that will do, and the reason why I've got these overlapping, is it will look where this line crosses over the other shape, and wherever it crosses over completely, you know, if it was shorter it wouldn't work, wherever this line intersects, it's going to slice it basically along this line. So I'm just going to hit Divide, and you can see it's cut it. Now, it will still treat it at the moment as one object with two elements, which is pretty good. You can right click and ungroup it if you prefer. Actually, I want to keep them together, so I'm not going to do that right at the moment. What I am going to do is I'm going to use the white arrow, and I can select, and I'm just going to put some fills, start putting fills into things. So up here, I'm just going to bring in, let's just put a pale beige in there for now. Then I'm going to select the bottom half, and let's put a garish yellow in here. Okay. What I might need to do is hold down Shift, select both, and use Arrange to send them to the back so that I can see all the other elements. But you can see that we've now effectively subdivided this page between the area with the tab at the bottom here that's yellow and the area at the top. I could continue this by putting some fills into different elements so that I can see them more clearly. Let's fill this with red. I'm just using garish colours at the moment so I can see what's been completed and what hasn't. So again, I'm going to fill these with red. It's not a bit of visual design, it's purely a bit of signposting for me. And again, with things like this, to avoid the accident of potentially moving them, I can create a group within my group for those checkboxes so that they move as one. And I'm pretty much there. The only thing I need to do now is I want to put some fill into this one. Let's go for a different color. What the hell? Let's go for a hot pink. And then I'm going to right click and bring to front these little elements, and I'm going to put a cyan in them. I'm going to sort this out in a second. And the final thing that remains is really to make these into a tab. Now at the moment, if I give them a fill, let's put an orange into this one. Okay, you'll see it's just going to join the two ends, which is not quite the look I'm after. Let's put purple in this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just modify these shapes, because these are just a single line which has an angle and bends. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to use the pen tool. I've selected this shape. I go to the end, click once, it's now joined on. I move along. I can even come up and pick up this point, track it, come down. Where these two intersect, I can click, and I can close it off. When my pen goes back over the end point, you can see I'm getting a little circle next to my pen tool, which means it's closing the path off, making it to a compound shape. Okay. I'm going to hold down the Control key rather than be lazy, and I should. No, it's not working. I think I really am having problems with my mouse. Normally you can select the next shape and deselect the first one. So again, I'm going to take the pen tool, same idea, click on the end, come along, find that intersect point. It doesn't really matter if this edge isn't accurate. We could trim this down. All I'm going to do, in fact, here is I'm just going to move this purple one. I'm going to use right click, arrange, center back. Okay, I will need to ungroup these back two shapes in a second. In fact, I'll do it now. I'm going to ungroup it because obviously I need to send this even further back. So I'm going to again send this one to the back. Then I can hold shift. So I've got the background, this taupe color. I think it's top. I've got this purple, I've got this orange all selected, and I can use again arrange and center back. This is where it's quite cool to group things, because in effect I probably want this icon traveling back with the tab, and at the moment in the layer order stack it won't be, it will be near the front somewhere. I'm just going to hit Control minus, or in fact Control 1, zoom in once, So you're getting the idea. Okay, so I'm going to select all. In fact, I'm just going to drop back out to the root level of the whole document, select the group, copy, move on to the next artboard. This is where we're going to add the full-on color. Okay, so I'm going to again edit, paste in place, because these artboards are the same size, it'll be exactly the right place. So I'm just moving across each time. So what do we do now? What I do now is I bring in the original image. So to do that, switching to my layers. Now you'll probably have this in your file. I'm just going to copy it. I'm also going to bring in these swatches. Actually, I made these. I'll show you how I made them in just a sec. Hide that layer and lock it. Come back to my draw layer, the one that I'm working on. Again, you won't need to switch between layers. You can if you wish, but you don't have to. I'm doing it purely so I've got these things in reserve. So what I've done here is I want to create this gradient, and I've just created a number of swatches. Okay, what I'll do for now is just make them all bland. All I've done is draw a rectangle and Alt drag out copies of it, and then Control D to just keep duplicating down the page to make several. Okay, so just in case you're not sure about that process, let's start up here, move down with Alt and Shift, Control D, and start as many as you need. And I'm going to select this first one, use the eyedropper, come in, click right at the top of the orange to get the lightest orange that's on there. Click the next one. I'm going to pick somewhere in the middle. Next one, I'm holding down Command or Control key with the eyedropper selected to select the next object, so I don't have to keep going back and changing the tools. Select a fairly dark right near the bottom of the orange spectrum. So I've got the very light, middle tone, and the dark. Move on to the next bit, choose the paper color. Move on to the next bit, choose the tab color. If you wish to, choose the tab shadow color. Now, these may not look like it, but these are actually this kind of purple. So I want to do the same with that. Maybe even in the darker shaded areas of the purple. Final thing, this one's been grayed out because it's been selected. So I want to choose that color. It might be that it's the same as these, but it might not. And this one's actually got a shade in it as well. So just make as many as you need. Okay. I might also, usually by standard, I would have one that is just pure black and one that's pure white. So if I come in, make that one white, make that one black, you can see that this is just off-white, this color. Okay, so I've got my swatches. Obviously, what I really want to do now is select each of these and drag them into my swatches. You can see I've done that down here into a folder already. Okay, so to do that, if you've got a color like this, you can literally select it, come in, and add a new swatch like so. It's that easy, and it just adds it in the palette. Then you can arrange them into folders. You can even save these folders. If you're using Creative Cloud, it's even better. You can save your color palettes, move between projects. It's automatically available through Creative Cloud when you move to a different piece of software. So I now want to put this background in. For now, I'm just going to cut these. Okay, just Control and doesn't have it. Edit, cut. I want to move them into my group. So I'm going to double click on here. I'm just going to paste in place, or Control F, paste in front. That means that while I'm inside here, I can access these or see them in their proper color. If they were outside, they'd be grayed out now. It doesn't matter because the eyedropper will see them right. For now, I'm just going to bang that in with a flat orange, and I'm going to hold down Control or Command, and I'm going to just do the same with all these elements. Like I say, you could click on the image. You could click wherever you want. I'm going to come in and select colors, so I know that this should be purple. I'm going to make this tab scroll's going a bit mad. Really, I'm having a problem with this mouse. You can see that they've disappeared temporarily. I'll sort that out in a minute. There is an anomaly with the way that this has been visualized in Photoshop that doesn't make sense visually. There's sort of two different angles, and it wouldn't work that way. This one would be narrower, this one would be wider if it was casting a real shadow. So that bugs me, and I'd want to sort that, fix that in my design. Again, I can do the same thing with the type. So I can pick out a color. That's my